Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another exciting installment of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. Now, what we have on this exciting episode today is basically Desmond is in deep thought, bro, using his claws to wood carve a picture. My bad, sorry. Kind of like a little statue of a certain someone in his life. He is conflicted with questions. He is trying to figure out that right now he is just in deep thought, just sitting right next to his favorite spot on the lake. And that's when someone can enter.
After a while, after having a grand evil political talk with his wife about everything evil and political, as Aedan be doing, Aedan will be walking, spotting the cub by the young tree with I would say a 12-pack, 6 each, as he will walk over with a smile on his face. He looks quite friendly. As Desmond will hear the clinking of bottles as he's walking over, and with a big smile on his face.
As soon as Desmond sees Aiden, basically he will assume a different permission, not permission, a different submission. Basically, he'll be on his knees with his hands out and his throat up, total submission to like homage, basically.
You smile. You're good, lad. You're good.
And then he'll get up and do his sit down and do his wood carving, and just get back in deep thought and just be like, all right.
Do you want a beer?
I do, of course.
Yeah, Aedan will plank one of the 6-packs down in front of him and sit down.
He'll pop the cap open with his glabro claws and basically start drinking it. He'll down it actually. Like, this is a long time since he had a beer. Like,
smirk at him. You grin. Maybe you should fucking relax the homid, lad. You might feel easier drinking it. Might feel normal.
And basically he'll nod and he'll like reflexively like just shift back down and he'll just burp.
Ain't no smile. As he, runs and will clink bottles with him. That's for doing well in your mission the other day.
Yeah. Thank you. Without your guidance, I would have, approached harder than it was.
Oh, well, that's been a ragabash. Not only questioning things, it's also learning how to vanish from one sight. You shrug. Sometimes it's better to ambush your enemy than go in open battle.
I agree on that.
Good nod. So, how you been managing? Has everyone been taking a piece out of you bit by bit?
It's been a learning experience. Oddly enough, time for like new, cubs to get this lifestyle, and I understand that, but feel more at home with this than I would have been if I would have been in the regular mundane world.
Ain't no nod. Sometimes it's good to have a purpose in life. And in ways, the nation can serve that. Let me ask you something, Desmond. In terms of an army, which is the bigger number? 5, and he'll spread his fingers, and then he'll lift up his fist. Or 1?
I will say the 5, basically, if they're coordinated enough.
He'll smirk and take a drink. And look, he'll lift up his fist. One army with one purpose. United under that common purpose can change anything. That's what the nation is. That's what a nation should be. One army.
Yeah, that is understandable. If we all have one common goal, then we will be a force to reckon with.
But then you have the problems of the others. You have the Fianna, the Shadow Lords, the Silver Fangs, the Wendigo, all conflict with each other, the Get being the Gets, and that's the problem. I think that's why, in certain cases, we get pushed back. Because we're too busy conflicting with each other, but you don't see the other side doing that to the same level we do. They're united by the same thing. One goal.
It seems like that. I have noticed that basically when I walk around the set, when I see folks looking towards each other, they're from different tribes, different ways of life. They look at each other a certain way. The intertribal and the conflicts that goes on.
As liberal as this place is, there's always history. There's always tribal history. And that's the problem. And a lot of people latch onto it. So people fight with each other. People say things. No matter how much ways we push forward, we often push each other back several steps. And that's the big problem. New shrug. What else have you noticed? Now I'm interested. Seeing as a cub, it's almost vital to know what the other cubs are thinking. What you see among your peers often identifies how you're going to be, particularly for a Philodox.
I see amongst who basically everyone here, there is tension. There is basically a little bit of animosity towards each other, a little bit. But y'all put aside your differences because you all of a proper rank and do what needs to be done.
We'll nod and take a drink. So with that in mind, here's a little test I'm going to put for you. Give you some experience on the Philodox legs. What would you say to a person during a meeting, a debate, no less, deviates from the argument and personally attacks, trying to provoke rage from someone because they know they're losing the argument? What would you say to a person who's done that?
He either has two options. Either ask at hand, we can finish the conversation. Three, I'm so sorry. One is the same thing. Topic at hand. To kindly leave. Or three, we go to the mistress of challenges. We figure it out on the mound.
I'm not. Yeah. What happens if this process kept continually repeating? Even among that person's pack, they adopt the same tactic.
Then those options goes a little bit up drastically, and I'm about to say you can kindly and keep your comments to yourself. Two, you can either go to the mound, and there's an or that if I am of higher rank, higher station, I will proceed to rip out your tongue.
But there's also, if they're higher than you, there's also respecting those beneath you as well. So, in the end, would you look at the person differently if they kept using that tactic continuously, despite punishments, despite everything?
If one keep using such a bold tactic, then they should be a rebel rouser or someone who does not do what we guru do best, does not challenge. If you have a dispute between someone, you should either let a philodox mediate it the best way they can, or you can just challenge and get it over with, and the dispute can be done. We can move on to the task at hand. Code, no need to things, no need to do nothing. It's what's that? The most animalistic and primal way of the guru culture on the mound.
But this is the point. You can do all these things, but there's things that I notice. There's things, for example, people like to hold on to grudges even though they shouldn't, because against our laws, once the challenge is done, it's done. You see. But I've noticed it's a continual tactic. So would you do that without impunity then, no matter who it was?
I hold no favoritism to whoever it is.
Even if it was
and
your
I hope that and then he will look at him and just basically his eyes will get, kind of cold and be like, even if it was her.
I'm saying everyone, lad, if you're going to be impartial, it has to be with everyone, no matter what your attachments are. If it was your den father, if it was your den mother, would you do the same? Not. Good. You have the makings of a good philodox then. Because you are supposed to be impartial. You are a judge, a mediator, and all these things. If you're biased towards something, then your role is effectively useless. Because if you're biased, then you can truly not pass a fair judgment, wouldn't you say?
That is true. A judge must be to all and must be ready to pass down judgment to all who deserve to be judged.
But how do you know when is the right time to imply your said biases? Because you're going to be biased either way. You're going to have your pack bond. You're going to have this. You're going to have certain aspects of yourself. So how do you know when is the right time to shield that out and just be the judge or the mediator or the leader?
There's a time and place for everything. Basically, if it was your pack, you all will get the one warning rule. Rule will be basically you only get one. After that, one deal. If it's not that grievance of a crime, if it's tremendously grievous, get no warning. Judgment will be passed.
Nod. You seem to have a good head about you. Has Jacob been teaching you? He'll raise an eyebrow.
Jacob Raya on numerous of yesterday, and but I also was a law student before I was this, so the law is nothing new to me.
I see. You have experience. Good. He'll nod. More pleased. No, you have a good head about you. Good ethics. You're going to need it. And he'll smirk. Say, have you thought about a tribe yet?
I'm leaning towards the Shadow Lords.
Why? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, what did he say? Why?
Why, yeah.
Of course. despite popular opinions, look up to Bites the Weak. I look up to basically how he stayed true to himself no matter what. Despite anyone's opinions, despite anyone's, beliefs, he stayed true to himself. I respect a person who stayed true to himself no matter what. I respect a person with honesty. More reasons than that.
The one thing I would say, particularly when you're choosing the tribe, you choose for yourself. Not because you admire someone, not because you idolize someone, no matter how much you think they do something. For example, I admire a man called Eric Skovgaard, but that doesn't mean I joined the Kid of Fenris. The tribe is who you are. In there, pointed at his chest, your very soul. It's who you are and who you belong to. Don't follow someone who may, yes, stay true to themselves, but their greatest strength as guru is adaptability. I'm from a traditional background, yet I work and thrive in this sept. A liberal one, completely opposite ethics to where I'm from. Because we adapt and we survive. Is it really someone to admire who will be true to themselves, but will never admit to being right about adaptability and how things change, like the passing of water, like the passing of leaves in the seasons?
Basically, he'll look at Aedan and he'll smile and be like, more reasons why I want to join the Shadow Lords.
You're not. At least you're thinking about it. And whatever tribe you pick, I'll be happy. I'd be disappointed you didn't join us, but I'm not going to judge you for joining something that you follow your heart on. It takes a lot of courage to walk your own path. Make sure it's the path you chose to walk. Otherwise, you suck in a breath and take a drink. Otherwise, you're bound for a life of misery ahead.
Basically, he will crack open another beer and just basically drink and just be like, just look at his beer and be like, the path that I walk on is a path of one that will be a path of sacrifice and much needed resolution.
You nod. And what are your opinion of those? Who would you say are an example, are the living, breathing proof that breaking the first sin, first tenet, is so bad? What are your opinion of the metas?
The metas are basically what we should not, examples of what is not needed in the what is not needed in the nation to do, but born despite punishment and all that. If they are born, then they are put to work improving themselves constantly and forever in the nation.
So would you take some of the approach of these people in the sept here and would say metas deserve to be equally treated?
If one proves themselves, then I can perhaps say yes.
But one thing that nobody else here likes to admit about metas, we Fianna were taught and we know they have that seed in them. They don't mean it, but it's there in their belly, in their very soul. Is that little bit of taint from the worm. So how do you polish that? Because if you give it enough praise, it becomes comfortable. And then it starts to slowly slide. And then when it slides, you notice it starts to spiral. It's a vicious cycle, Desmond. So what would you do knowing that? Knowing that it's not their fault. But you know if you go soft, that you're condemning them to, gesture outside the worm and the dancers that follow it.
You mistaken me as being lenient with them. They will work more harder than the rest.
No, I'm merely asking your opinion. Would you agree with that? Or would you say, no, we need to teach them, to educate them, to give them hope? Well, giving them hope is giving them false ideals. Wouldn't you say?
The opinion of the weak.
Nod. I'm saying if you're going to teach a medicine, you need to be real with them. You need to tell them straight out the gate what's going to happen. Because otherwise, you're just filling them with hope they'll never have. He'll smile a bit. You need to teach them a lesson. So they never forget.
How do you teach them a lesson?
Some like to imply it physically. It's an age-old tactic. Me personally, the way to win people over is hearts and minds. You get in their head. You twist. You turn. You dictate. And you give their heart something to work towards. Something that they remind, but you give the mind something that it never forgets. Something that they know if they even stray that slight bit off will happen again and again. See, breaking the mind and understanding it would do far more than simply beating something that can regenerate. Beating it serves maybe as a catharsis, but they'll never learn from it. Get in there, and he points at his temple. And then you can truly save them. Have you ever taken confession, Desmond? And lean back. As a philodox, from where I'm from, people who come and have done their deeds, very much like the Hamid-style church, they come and take confession of them. The philodox measures it, weighs it. It's a very common practice in one of the philodoxes in my pack. If you would like, I could arrange that and see what it's truly like to hear a medicine sin for you. Of course, he'll spread his hands. This is a matter of trust. I suspect your den mother would be very upset if I showed you the reality of things. But then again, would you tell your den mother?
If it is to further my education, then I would not mind seeing such a thing, as long as we are in the premises of the sept.
Of course. A smile. You could just simply say, you learned 10-point wishes to teach you about medicine. Smile. Because it'll be her confession you'll be hearing. Smile a bit. If you're up to the task, of course.
I will do what needs to be done.
You nod. Good lad. And like I said, whatever tribe you pick, I think I'd like the two of us to get on and be honest with each other. I think the two of us are not so different.
Of course, I will accept her confessions and be appropriate to exercise her of her sins.
I'll nod. And in return, I can teach you a few things. Hell, I'll even have a good old-fashioned ragabash father-docs debate so you can stretch your legs a bit. As an offer of friendship, and extend his hand with a smile on his face.
Desmond will look at his hand and look at him, and basically he will shake his hand.
Wait, what does he do? You kind of cut out at the last second.
He'll look at Aedan and look at his hand, and basically he will extend his out. He'll shake his hand.
Aedan will smile. Good boy, Desmond. I think you made the right decision. Me and Fianna are very generous in our hospitalities. He'll smile, kind of pat him on the shoulder. You can have the rest of them. My gift.
Thank you.
Pats him on the shoulder and squeezes and begins to walk off, lighting a cigarette as he's walking, hands in his pockets, whistling.
And Desmond's just going to look at his half beer and just whisper to himself, "This will not be as easy as I thought it would be." Technically, he'll just start downing them beers.
That's a perfect way to send it.
So that's where we'll end our scene. For playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another exciting episode of Living with the Darkness, Rage Across New York. Stands at night.